poverty in this country is so high, such that government should look at translating those GDP numbers into putting food on people's table. If you have to follow through with what is happening in Britain, United Kingdom government, they are taking decisive action to make sure that banks send money to small and medium-scale enterprises. And they are making sure that infrastructural facilities are developed, despite the fact that the economy is not so buoyant now, to create jobs for people so that they can have money to spend. We can't be talking about numbers, about reserves. People are dying on a daily basis. I think my advice is to policy makers and those implementing the policies that we should look at the people. All the results we are building, all transformation agenda is about people. And if people are dying because of poverty, then something is wrong somewhere. Like in economics, it is in the long run. In the long run, people are dead. Now is the time to make sure that there is money, there are things for people to enjoy. God bless you all.
Thank you, Fola.
Yeah, there was, there's an area I wanted to bring out, which sometimes we don't see it as impacting on the quality of life. And that is that, yes, GDP has increased, but then we have a faster rate of growth of population. And if you put it side by side, then you could see that we would have been in worse shape if the GDP did not increase. And then we'll see how this fast rate of population growth is a major area that we need to address. Because all countries that have made progress, okay, that have fast-tracked their development, okay, normally reduce their rate of population growth, whereby the increase in GDP is much faster than the rate of population. Because even if you increase and then your population increases, everybody becomes poorer, so to say.
We
and
come up with a policy aspect, birth control, can't have more than 2 children.
I'm not saying that is for an economy. I mean, we're looking at fundamentals, okay?
Yes. Is that where we have found ourselves?
Of course, amongst it, you have the economy has a lot of leakages too, okay? But said, in addition to that, okay, you have a situation whereby even if you have increase in GDP, but once you have a faster rate in the rate of population, okay, it will get worse, not even get better, because you now have a piece of cake, more people, even though its size increased, but then more people have increased, they get lesser share of that. That's an area that when we are discussing about the leakages, okay, we should also look at how we put the balance, emphasis on how we grow the economy without depending on oil, how we can make sure that there are jobs, because it's from jobs that a lot of people get out of poverty. But at the same time, too, we should look at how we decrease our rate of population growth.
I'm sorry, I'm going to intervene because you just mentioned something that if we don't look at it at the end of this program, we've sent some signal. I don't totally subscribe to the issue of, although you didn't explain it very well about how population growth, the rate of population growth is inimical to quality of life. In 2005 December, when Goldman Sachs came out with this famous report suggesting that Nigeria in 2020 will be one of the largest 20 economies in the world, one of the key indicators that informed that report is our size of population and the rate of our population growth and the structure of our population, that is youthful and the energetic population. Nigeria is not more popular than Indonesia. We're not more popular than the United States. Of course, I'm not going to mention India and China. What of Brazil? We used to be at the same level. Brazil is, as we speak today, well over 200 million. So I think where we have to put strong our attention and effort is making the right policies and implementing these policies, and leaders also showing the right example. Nigerians are not even ready to work again because of what they are seeing. Before Fashola banned Okada in Lagos, 70% of the Okada men you see, they are not Nigerians. They are not Nigerians. You want to go into artisanship when we were small. Everything, the electrician, the tailor, where are those jobs now? Where are those jobs? there are enormous opportunity in the informal artisanship market. A lot of them. Somebody want to tile his house is going to Benin Republic to bring the tiler to Nigeria because a Nigerian tiler messed him up. We need to address certain basic things.
Because everybody who wants to get an education wants to get a degree.
Exactly.
People are not going to trade
theoretical
schools
degrees
anymore.
for that matter.
Yeah, not going to trade schools.
With due respect to the point he raised about population, I think we should bake the cake, because the cake will be so large for everyone to share. But I don't believe that population growth is an issue.
That population growth rate, the Goldman Sachs report.
Yeah.
Yes, Nigeria will be the largest economy by 2020. Yeah. If we go by that report, and you say it's based on our growth rate pattern.
Yeah.
And all that.
And our potential.
And our potential.
Yes.
If that potential, the question will now be, how do we maximize that potential so that we can hit that largest economy by 2020 based on our population growth pattern?
Well, we will. It's easy, but through hard work. And what we want to warn the federal government is not to. It's warning. It's warning.
Hard work is not easy.
Is that we don't play funny, because the body language of the government in recent time, especially when it comes to GDP rebasing, is suggesting that we want to maybe, want to cleverly find our way into the 19th economy in the next 4 or 5 years by just a paperwork and the Excel sheet calculation. We announce to the whole world that we've made it. It's so wrong. It's important that we give Nigerians vitamin, not aspirin. Aspirin is quick fix syndrome, but vitamin builds your immunity. You cope. You are able to fight even incoming diseases and attack. That is what we need now, by doing the right work. By, first of all, being financially or physically disciplined. The little we have to use it well and maximize it. People are talking about GDP growth. Well, I've also seen that even the rate at which our debt is growing is by far faster than the rate at which our GDP is growing. The incidence of poverty as at 1985 is like 46. Now it's about 69%, maybe 70% as at 2012.
Well, you said GDP is growing, yet we have all these issues in the northern part of the country. Isn't all that affecting our economy in any way?
It's supposed to affect our economy, but when we are talking about GDP, I think that the people that are calculating our GDP also need to be a little bit transparent and tell us how these GDP numbers are calculated.
Arrived at.
The reason being that today, agricultural sector contributes about 38% from about 40% in the last 5 years. Agricultural sector. And what are they measuring? Is it the number of people working in that sector, or the output coming from that sector, or the tax, or the revenue being generated from that sector? We don't really know what Nigerian Bureau of Statistics is measuring in agri sector that made agricultural sector in Nigeria as much as 38%. It's an issue. We want to know what they are measuring.
Cassava.
Again, a big issue is that when they are rebasing, because I said we have to warn the authorities not to cleverly become the big economy in 2020 by maybe bypassing South Africa, and by then we will not even be entitled to some of the aids and waivers that are meant for poor country. The point we're trying to make here is that instead of just recalculating our GDP or rebasing the GDP from 1988 to, I think, 2008 as the base year, the most important thing is to reweight the GDP classification, or the reweight the sectoral GDP contribution, not rebasing, to see how much the emerging power sector will even mean to us. The telecom sector, these are the IT telecom sector. These are some sectors that are beginning to exert some weight in our national life. It's important that we don't just change the base year by calculating with a new base price. That would take us to over $350 billion US from the 270 we are now. And if we grow at the rate of 6% over the next 3 years, of course, South Africa will become number 2. And that will be funny. That will make Nigeria the first big economy that have high incidence of poverty, high mortality rate, very low